I'm super, super happy and excited about having Mary Beth here because we've been working together with Mary Beth on several Wanderlusts. Mary Beth was a teacher on of our Wanderlusts, I think. Um,
Yes.
and it was always just lovely to work with her. And today I want to talk to Mary Beth about all the interesting stuff. She said she's an open book, so I'm really, really excited about it. Hello, Mary Beth. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Kesha. It's so great to be here. I'm Mary Beth. I live in the United States, in the middle of the country, in outside of St. Louis, Missouri. I've been working as an artist for about 20 years, and I founded StencilGirl products 10 years ago. So I split my time between my company and then also my artwork. I try to keep both businesses separate and work as a teacher and an artist, and then also as the owner of the company. So
Definitely a busy life. At least it sounds like it is.
it is busy. It's a lot, yes. And sometimes the mix between the two isn't exactly what I want, but we manage.
Okay, well, on your website and in your bio, you said that you worked in a insurance industry for 18 years, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. Uh, Tell me what happened? Did you have some breakthrough moment, or was it a series of little things that happened that made you decide to become an artist?
Yes, well, I think, I just landed in the insurance industry when I got out of college. I graduated from college in the middle of a recession and couldn't find a job. And then I had studied journalism, and I ended up in insurance, and I just moved my way up the ladder, and it was good money, and I was successful. And then I don't know, I think it was just middle-aged crazy, as I was getting towards 40, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I thought, I know I'm good at this and I know I'm making good money, but what if I did something else? What would that look like? And I just felt this urge to do something more creative, really. I always thought that I would write, and I was thinking I wanted to write a book, and then I had been fiddling around with little craft projects on the side. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll do something there. And I just wasn't sure, but I just knew that I was done with insurance, basically. And so I told my husband, and he had a really, really good job then. So I kind of thought that we would be able to do it okay, just living on his income for a while I tried to figure out what I wanted to do. So I asked him when I was right before my 40th birthday. He said, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "I want to quit my job." And he was just like, "What?" And he said his famous quote, "Well, that's going to be expensive." And but I'm resourceful, and I figure it out. And so here I am today, 20 years later. It's crazy because in July I turned 60, and it'll be exactly 20 years since I quit my day job, right?
Unbelievable. But I mean, it takes so much courage, I think, to, because if you have a safe space and, you're making money there and you can carry on like this, really, it takes a lot of courage, I think, to take a decision like this and just change your life entirely, turn it around.
Well, I don't think I ever would have done it if he had not had a good job. We had a safety net. So that was really good. And
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm not sure I would have had the nerve to do it, but that was quite helpful. Um, what happened though was I was probably, oh gosh, a year into this not working in insurance, and the company my husband was working for went out of business.
Okay. Oh, dear.
And I just was like, so the safety net was gone, and we were kind of in free fall. And that was scary because I had just fallen in love with my art by then and what I was doing. And there just was no way I wanted to go back,
Hmm.
you know,
So
to
what
that
did you
type
do
of a
then?
corporate job.
What did you do then?
Well, we were living in California, and it was very expensive. So we tried to, we thought, well, we'll sell, we had a condo, and we thought we'll sell our condo and we'll get something a lot cheaper, and then we'll have time to make a decision, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we ultimately decided to move back here to St. Louis, Missouri. John's daughter lived here, and she had just had our first grandson, and I don't know, it just seemed like a great idea to move back here and to be near them. She's it for us family wise. And so we did. We moved back here, and I'll have to say it was the best decision we ever made. I mean, we've grown up being super close to both of our grandsons. She had a second boy, and you know, they've never known a day in their lives without their grandparents being around and being at their sporting events.
That's
And
cool.
that just means the world to me. It really does.
I'm sure it does. So that's serendipity, basically.
Yes, it really is. And we've laughed about it because at the time we were just kind of making these short-term decisions and not really sure where we were going to land, you know. And John is just the most amazing partner, you know, my husband, because he knew how much it meant to me and how much passion I had for the art. And he was extremely supportive. And he's like a good guy at managing money and so forth. So he's like, we can do this and we can see how your art goes, and we will give it 2 years and we'll figure it out, and we'll do it for 2 years and see if you can be successful. And you know, he managed it. And we did the when we got back here to St. Louis, I started entering outdoor art fairs. And
Okay, yeah.
I you know, I got into some really good shows, and we made money, and it was fun. It was kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like being a little gypsy, you know. You got your tent and you're traveling around, and it was fun. We met this, you know, this group of people, and it's almost the same people you see week after week. You go to different towns and so forth. And it was really a fun time. We did that for 5 years.
Oh,
It's
wow.
hard work. I mean,
I can
setting up
imagine.
and sitting out in a tent trying to sell your art for, usually it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, for 3 days straight. And then you're outside, so you know, it could rain or it could be cold or it could be really hot, you know, you just never know.
I remember we did an art show only once. Jamie done it a few times before, so he had that experience, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do this with everything art," when we were just starting out. And I was so exhausted after those 3 days that I just knew I'm never gonna do it again. It's just not my thing. I felt like I lost at least 5 or 10 kilograms, you know, sweating whole day, trying to be at it, active, talk to people, do stuff. Wow. So really, really impressed that you managed to do it for so long.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you. And so we had like our duties, like his duty was like getting this tent, getting me to the show, doing all the paperwork, getting the tent set up, and then I'd take over and I'd place the art, and then I would be, you know, on for the whole show. And when we would drive home, I just wouldn't talk for days because I was so exhausted. And I'm sure you were the same way. It takes so much out of you talking to all those people, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely draining. But we are very, very happy that you made this decision almost 20 years ago to be an artist, because now we have you, we have your great teaching, we have your great art, and we have StencilGirl, which is brilliant. So at what point of that journey, you know, when you left your job, when did you came up with the idea of that business?
Of Stencil Girl. Yes. Well, I've always loved pattern and you know, patterned papers and vintage patterned papers. And then somewhere along the way, I would say maybe it was probably around 2007 or 8, I became interested in cutting my own stencils, like making my own patterns and cutting the stencils by hand so that I could use the patterns over and over. And some I started teaching, I guess, in around that same time, and some students saw these hand cut stencils and were very interested in them. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll have somebody manufacture some for me and see how that goes, you know. And I did, and I had 6 designs, a whopping 6 designs.
How many do you have now?
Oh my gosh, we're like 1800 or something.
Wow.
I mean, so many, it's crazy. And I keep thinking, oh, we should like maybe eliminate some, but this is the advantage of owning your own lasers, is
Hmm.
that, you know, we don't have to like ever cut back our stock. If somebody wants one stencil from 10 years ago, we can cut that one stencil. So anyway, yeah, one thing led to another, and it just was really successful. I never dreamed. I really thought it was just a short-term thing. Like I would put out these 6 stencils. I did a show, and I thought, well, my students will buy them. I'll carry them around when I'm teaching and sell them. And no, I mean, it was like they sold out in 30 minutes. It was nuts. It was
Wow.
so unexpected. I just
Cool.
wasn't even prepared
And you
for
turned
it.
into a businesswoman then.
Well, I did, and that other side of my brain had to kick back in for a while because I do have a business skill set. I
Hmm.
just prefer not to use it.
So, how does your art practice look like right now? Because obviously you run a business and you make your own art. You said at the beginning that sometimes it's challenging. Tell me, how does it look on day-to-day basis?
Yes, it can be challenging. Right now, I'm since we're in this pandemic, I'm doing live streams on Facebook twice a week. So I have that to factor in also, and I do that on behalf of the company on StencilGirl. For my own art, my own art has kind of taken a back seat, I would say, during the development of the company. I used to have what I would have considered a very strong body of work, and that I could have had a show at any moment. I would typically work in series, so I had several series available all the time. And now I would say I'm a little bit of, I was going to say a drifter, but more of an explorer, I guess, because for StencilGirl, I view one of my jobs as being, well, the face of the company and the main educator.
Hmm.
And so I view my job as exploring ways to use stencils as very, very important. So consequently, I'm kind of doing a bunch of different things and trying out things and being a mad scientist, which I really like a lot. I love to be a mad scientist
Cool.
and to to use the art supplies in ways that people might not have thought about, and to try, especially to see if I can get some stencils going with that too. So, but consequently, what happens then is my art kind of disconnects a little bit, and maybe it isn't as strong a body of work as I used to have. But you know what? I think these days I almost have to just say that maybe that is who I am. Maybe I'm a
Mm,
mad scientist artist. I don't know. I mean, if you put all my art in the same room, it all looks pretty much like I made it. So I
yeah,
guess it is a body of work, so to
definitely.
speak.
Definitely. And Stencil Girl is very successful, and that's also a good indication that, you are doing your job very, very well. You've worked with several, not several, more than several designers, artists who created stencil designs for you. So, I mean, come on, it's all really, really, really good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I just like I said in the beginning, I didn't have these big goals, but then somewhere along the way, I just thought this is a really great way for me to, kind of give back to artistic community, because we pay our artists royalties, and 4 times a year, and that really pleases me, that we can give back our
Mhm.
part of our profits to every artist who designs their own stencils. And because when I was out there doing those art shows, the things you see, I mean, it wasn't all fun and games,
Mhm.
I mean, I distinctly remember a show that we were at where the people that were in the tent next to us, they literally did not have enough money to put gas in their vehicle to get home. And they were just brilliant artists. And it's like you see these things and you see the artists who, they're so good at what they do and they make such beautiful art, but unable to put themselves out there in a way that really sells the art,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, it just became important to me to want to help artists earn a living,
And
you know.
I think this is brilliant and beautiful because I am also all about that. When we work on Wanderlust or whatever we do, I always pay, people who work with us on something because I know this is their skills, this is their talents, what they're sharing. And I know because I worked in this industry for a while now that it's not a standard. It doesn't always happen, and there are companies that don't pay their people or they pay in products. So I think I don't like that. So I'm really, especially, I appreciate what he's saying. It's really, really important.
Yes, and I know you do that with your company too. So I applaud that. I just think it's very important.
Super
So
important. Okay, I would like to talk a little bit about social media because I know that, right now we are connecting with each other through social media more than ever, probably because of COVID-19. We can't get out, we can't go out for a coffee, so people open their apps on their phones and try and make connections there. And I know you are super active on your social media outlets and you have several of them. You have your own personal Facebook page. There is StencilGirl Facebook page with over 23,000 followers right now. Similar StencilGirl's Instagram page, your own Instagram page. You're even on Twitter and Pinterest. You do, like you said, lives on Facebook. Come on, how do you do it? Do you manage it all yourself? How does it work?
no, of course I don't. I mean, I couldn't possibly. I don't. I have people that work with me that I have Mary Nasser. She's my social media manager, and she actually has a full-time day job. So she kind of manages and organizes our social media part-time. She's an art teacher, by the way, a high
Okay.
school art teacher. And she's a very dear friend of mine. And when we started, we just didn't know a thing about social media. She and I were in a gallery together, and that's how we had met, and we became friends. And so she had an interest in trying to figure it out and learn. And so I've had classes for her to take that I found out about, because we didn't know how to do Instagram or how to do Facebook. We were just kind of figuring it out as we were going along, mainly.
Mad
So
scientist again.
I know, definitely, definitely. And she lives near me, so she comes over to my studio and we hang out. And but I have an assistant, Carol, who she is behind the scenes with StencilGirl, but then she also tries to manage me too. And she's a remote employee. She lives in Arizona. But then Mary does the social media. And then we have people that work with us actually doing our shipping. The company has gotten fairly large. I mean, it's still family run. It's just me and my husband and my son-in-law, Frank, the three of us, but we have these other people that work with us too. So we consider them family.
So your social media maybe isn't that overwhelming, or do you ever feel overwhelmed, or how does it work for you?
I do, it does feel overwhelming sometimes because I probably seem like I'm really outgoing and I'm really, an extrovert, but I have that side of me that needs to go back inside a lot, and I need to have downtime and I need to just be immersed in my art. And there are those times when I don't want the social media interaction. So I have to be sure and allow times for myself when I can just do my art without having any distractions, any other distractions. And that's mainly when I do my journal work
Mm-hmm.
is, and I know you're the same way with your journal work. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of, it saves me really to just play in my journal because it's like I have this love-hate relationship with really the whole technology world, not just social media. But that's what has made my company great and has made us, has exposed us to people all around the world is the internet. So I love it on the one hand, but then it's 24/7 on the other hand. And that's a lot, I mean, our phone can ring in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
and we work a lot. We work 24/7, but I just have such a great passion for it. And I don't know, I would say I love it most of the time.
Do you have any certain routine on daily basis? If it's about the way you use social media, do you have times when you just switch it off, or how does it work for you?
Yeah, when I get up in the morning, I always check my email, then I check the social media places we appear and see what's going on. And I look and see what Mary has done, what she's put out on behalf of StencilGirl, and I share some of it out on my own, my own pages and so forth. And then if I have something I want to say personally, or I try to, for my personal page, I mean, our business, kind of our mission and so forth, is so consistent with my personal mission because of course I wrote it. So, and that is mainly that education and community are the most important things to me. So I feel like it's important for me to support those things broadly. And so if I see inspirational things, or occasionally if I see something that is just so hilarious that I can't stand it, I'll throw that out there too. I have a real, like on Instagram, my own story, I've just got this crazy, everybody in my family laughs at me because I like watch guinea pigs on Instagram. And I think that they're so adorable. And I had guinea pigs when I was a kid. And so I follow a bunch of guinea pigs. Lady Pigford is one of them that I follow. And so I'm always watching these guinea pigs. I try not to share them out too much because it looks like I'm a crazy woman.
So you're a guinea pig lady. Didn't know that.
I just love animals.
Well, clearly you don't share enough of guinea pigs. Because I didn't know. But obviously you have lots of followers. You also follow other people, not only guinea pigs, unless maybe I'm wrong. But I guess also other artists, yeah?
Yes, we do. And we love it when people use our stencils and they tag us up, especially on Instagram. It's so easy with the hashtags to find them. And it is so exciting for me to find people that use our art or use our stencils and to see how they're using them. And it's always in some way that I never would have thought of. And I just love seeing that. And I love being able to share these people. And sometimes I get the sense that they're just like so startled that I saw their work, and it means the world to me when I see that. And so I do like to give back and to, comment on people's work. And so I try to spend some time doing that too.
That's brilliant. What about your own feed and people you follow that come up on daily basis? Do you curate that? Do you follow and unfollow sometimes? Do you have any systems going there?
On Instagram, I tend to follow like people that are in, like, that will tag up like mark making. That's one of my hashtags that I just love, is mark making. So there's some mark making communities on there. And of course, abstract painters, I like to see what they're doing. And on Facebook, it's a little different. I get overwhelmed by some of the political stuff and some of the discussions that develop on Facebook. And it's not 3 strikes, you're out for me. It's 1 strike, you're out. If anybody says anything that rubs me the wrong way, I'm just like, no. Yeah. Mainly because I'm just a pacifist and I just don't like to argue. I don't want to argue. I really want people to peacefully coexist and to support one another. I just think we're all human beings, and being kind is important to me. So I don't like to get involved in the other stuff. I like to it's art all the time.
Well, it's good how you say that you just kick those people out, because
I know
at the end of the
bad, but I just can't help it because I just don't want to bring that into my life. I mean, I feel like as part of my personal belief system, I think that my energy is, obviously what fuels me and fuels my company. And I have a choice as to how I spend my energy. So why would I choose to spend my energy doing things that don't feed my soul? I want to do things that feed my soul and help me and hopefully others around me be better and be happy and be, I don't know.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it's so brilliant that he said that we have a choice. You have a choice. You can choose who you follow, how much time you spend on there, and choose what feeds your soul. That's just brilliant. Do you ever feel
Yeah.
like people you follow maybe don't have best impact on your own well-being? Maybe not in that political way, but maybe you start comparing yourself ever when you see people achieving things, being really successful and doing things when you know you also have your
Yes,
own
I do
journey.
think that. And I think that I'm a really I'm really tender-hearted.
Yeah.
So I get I don't have a very thick skin, so if somebody says something, my feelings get hurt like instantly. And if somebody says something, I'll back when I wrote my books, you read the book reviews, oh my gosh, I never should have done that. I never should have read the reviews, and they would hurt my feelings sometimes. And because I'm really tenderhearted, and but then I just try to tell myself that it's kind of that thing, like, you never know what someone else's path is. They could have just been really having a bad day. They could be coming from a different place totally. Maybe they're secretly jealous inside, or maybe their cat just died, or maybe, I don't know. I try to give people, I try to at least give them the benefit of the doubt when people, post things that hurt me. We had this thing last week where, we, have an enormous mailing list. So we're mailing out something about, I don't know, what, just one of our normal updates to our customers, right? And one person wrote back, one person out of this enormous mailing list wrote back and said, how can you be selling stencils at this time? I don't have any money. None of my friends have any money. We're all out of work. Your stencils are too expensive. This is just, I could never afford them anyway. And just on and on. It was just really mean spirited. And oh my gosh, it just demolished me for like half a day. And so then, seriously. And I'm so ridiculous.
I'm
And
not
my husband
surprised.
and
It's not ridiculous at all. Come on, it's not.
my husband and my assistant were laughing at me. They're like, Mary Beth, it's one person. And I said, well, I thought about maybe I could put together a little package and send them some stencils. But then I thought, you know what? This is a person who has something else going on in their life. This is not about me. This is not about me. So, okay, this is what I abide by. There's this book called The 4 Agreements. Have you ever read that book?
No.
Oh, you need to get it and read it. It's this little teeny book. It's called The 4 Agreements. And I'm probably going to forget all of them, but I'll try to convey them. I think one of them is to be impeccable with your word. Like, whatever you say, you're impeccable. That is your word that comes from your soul. It's your truth. One of them is to don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally when these things happen, like that example of that person writing in. Don't take it personally. That's not about you or me. That's their reality. So I should not take that personally. And then I can't remember the other.
Come on, keep going. This is good.
But they're really good. It's a fantastic book. I have referred to it over and over. And I could probably, if I could find my phone, switch and find it real quick. But it's a fantastic book, and it helps to put things in perspective, because everybody's coming, all we can do as humans is come from our own reality.
Absolutely.
And that's the best we can do.
The thing is, though, while you're looking for it on your phone, I can say that. The thing is, though, when we run a business or when we put our art there, which we do as artists, we are very vulnerable. And when we get negative feedback or a mean comment, all we know about that person is that one sentence that they've written, that negativity that they send us. But then when you think about all these people that you know in your life and how many layers there are to them, how many stories they carry with themselves on daily basis, how many things happen all the time, even in your life, in my life, then I think it's much easier to get over comments and feedback like that. But also it's true, and I don't think it's ridiculous or anything like that you
Yeah,
take it
I
very,
know.
it's hard to get over, because like you say, you send this newsletter out to so many people and only one person comes back. And even
I
though
know. Right.
99% of those people love that newsletter and love everything about you do, that 1% is what is the loudest, that one person, I mean.
I know. Okay, I have the other two. So it is be impeccable with your word is number one. The second is don't take anything personally. The third is don't make assumptions.
Okay.
And the
That's
fourth
good.
is always do your best.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, they're just pretty simple, but and that's kind of how I run my business and I just live personally. I don't know. I try to treat people the way that I would want to be treated. And these things sort of guide me. So
Not making assumptions is a good one, because often we create stories in our heads.
that is so true. We do. You can get this whole story going about somebody, what you're assuming they're all about. And it's all totally wrong.
Absolutely. Okay, wow, that was good. Really, really happy about what we talked about.
Deep thoughts, huh?
Deep thoughts. It was getting deeper and deeper slowly. So maybe we should continue for another half an hour and we'll be like, wow, really deep.
Yeah, right.
I don't think there's this risk with me. Um, can you give people one advice, one tip, something that you would say could be most useful? Those people who want to run a successful business and feel satisfied with what they're doing professionally, and also make art, maybe not on daily basis, but stay artists, do art regularly. One advice, what would you say?
Right. I for me, often the thing that comes to mind, even personally and even with the business, is to just start. Just start. You can spend so much time getting everything perfect and organizing and planning and making spreadsheets and mission statements and this and that and on and on and on. But just start already, and you're going to know if it's the right thing, because it's like sometimes when I don't even have enough time to make art, or like I don't have a full day and I'm kind of bummed because I just have little bits of time here and there. And if I just say, okay, just sit down and do something for 5 minutes, I'll sit down and an hour later, I'll be completely content. I'll have made a journal spread. And it's kind of the same way with the business. You have to just start at some point. You can have all the planning in the world, and that isn't necessarily going to build success for you. If you just start, your own personal passions are going to come out and take over. And for me, that has been the way to find success, is kind of a little balance. I'm not saying I don't plan, because I do plan, but really just start already.
That's very good. Very good. Agree. Thank you very much, Mary Beth. It was lovely to talk to you. I hope we can do it again. Maybe we'll talk about some other deep subjects.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
Thank you very much, and speak to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.